your host, Frankie Lee.
Yes. We are back with another episode of the Frankie Lee podcast. Today, we have an awesome guest on in the social media space, Mr. Jaxon Tippet himself. He's a bodybuilder, he's a fitness model, he's a social media personality. He's blown up on Instagram in the last few years. He's going to drop some knowledge on all things modeling and everything else he's been through in his entire life up until this point. There's some bangers in this one, let me tell you. Mate, welcome to the show.
Cheers, Frankie. I appreciate it. And I can't wait to get the message out to people.
Mate, look, I think the best place for us to start in your case is obviously like you've built a really good following on Instagram. And I just wanted to kind of like, how did you even get into like building a following on Instagram, like in terms of like the modeling and the fitness stuff that you were doing and everything like that?
Yeah, good question. So basically it just started out when I was into gym, and obviously I was doing like a cutting phase and obviously, looking better and doing, shirtless shots, stuff like that. And then I just, the more I was putting up, I just started to get a bit more traction in that. And then, eventually just a gym brand hit me up and they were just like, do you want to shoot some of our stringers or our shorts and that? And then they loved the content and it literally just grew from there. And just, that's how it happened.
Is it something you started way back when Instagram first opened? I mean, did you ever think that you were going to turn it into kind of like a business and kind of like make money out of this? Or when did all that kind of concept come about?
Yeah, no, definitely not at the start. At the start, it was just like, yeah, cool, I get some free clothes, you know what I mean? I'll shoot it, stuff like that. It's not until it really got deep, probably just as of late, like probably the last 6 months, it really got to like, okay, this is like, there's money in this, like, let's take it serious, like, you know what I mean? Let's get some big brands on board and like, let's actually produce good content, not just, off a camera kind of thing.
So how long have you actually been on the Instagram platform, and when did you start to notice your following building to a point where you thought to yourself, okay, now I'm getting this little bit of traction, let's segue into the modeling? Because like obviously Instagram came about in like 2012, 2013. Did you go on the platform at that particular time and start from then? Yeah,
I was on the platform then, and I was just a nobody. You know what I mean? I was just I didn't even really post, you know what I mean? It's just using it for kind of messaging and that. And definitely nothing was on board then at the start. Nothing.
Right, okay. And
it's not as if I went into, when the app started, I'm going to be a model, I want to do this, I want to be an online coach. It wasn't like that at all.
What were you doing back then?
I was still studying my fitness course, and then I was studying to be a PT, and then went on to just be a personal trainer. Just living a normal kind of life. Still am, but you know what I mean? Nothing was set in the way it is now. It's only when I really thought, no, I don't want to do this face-to-face anymore because of, first of all, I want to be my own boss. And second of all, I want to work my own time and I want to work anywhere in the world kind of thing. That's my goal eventually. So I was like, fuck this. I've looked up to some big online trainers. They were the likes of Zach Smith and Joseph Rakic.
Yeah.
I was just like, these dudes are killing it. Like, they're just living the life. Do you know what I mean? But they're doing what I'm doing, but they're not paying rent. They're not doing this on gyms. Do you know what I mean? And they're just working from their phone. And I was just like, I'm just going to do this. Hey, like I'm going to do it. I never thought I would obviously get to the level I'm at now, but I just gave in. I stuck in and I gave it a go. And yeah, like it's paying off.
So really, it was like training those one-to-one clients and being in the gym environment, and then obviously having this Instagram with a small social following at the start. Is that when you kind of said to yourself, "Okay, I'm going to try and build something off this platform and try and get them into my online programs or online mentorship"? Is that how you started it? Like, how many followers did you have at that point when you kind of started to get people into the online programs and started to get that going?
Yeah, good question. Obviously, it was very hard at the start, like it is even face-to-face PT. You have to really go out to get your clientele. So with like the starting of the online, it was more just I was giving out free plans to start, and that's something I recommend to everyone starting out. You can't just expect the money to roll in from the start. Same with the modelling. Everything was free at the start. Do you know what I mean? But that's something you do to showcase your work. So I would showcase my transformations, showcase testimonials, stuff like that. And then once people started to see my name a little bit more and me actually transforming people, then I charged, and that's how it grew.
Yeah, for sure. How many clients do you currently have now?
It's very individual, because a lot of them they're just a one-off plan. So it's like a diet and a training plan, never speak to you again kind of thing. And then there's people that are on continual payments each week. So with the one-off plans, man, there's literally thousands. But with the week to week, I probably got 50 on board right now.
Yeah, that's good, man. But it just shows you don't actually need many clients.
No, it's more just about I like my clients to be like my family. Once you got them on board, you treat them well and you get them results, they should stay there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas
for sure.
I'd rather do that than be like, oh, I've got a new client every week and then they go on, and then, do you know what I mean? I'd rather create a bond with them.
Yeah, for sure. But I just wanted to kind of get it out there, because obviously a lot of the people that listen to this podcast, some of them are trying to set their own businesses up. Some of them want that lifestyle and the social businesses and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of them think you need thousands and thousands and thousands of clients or customers, but you don't actually need that many. I mean, from a clientele of 20 to 50 people, you can earn a good living online
100%.
if you're giving the right value to the client.
100%. It's all about the right value and making them feel comfortable.
Yeah. What advice have you got from anyone that wants to kind of start in getting into, like, segueing into having an online business that can actually generate them just like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month?
Yeah, good question. Probably first of all, have a goal in set. Like, know where you want to go. Like, too many people are just they don't know what they want to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to be an online coach, let's go do it. So let's start giving out some free plans. Let's build a website, 100% build a website, because how are they going to look for you for leads and stuff? Do you know what I mean? Then, once we start getting bigger, let's run some ads through, do you know what I mean? On Canvas, run some ad through Facebook, Instagram. Let's, try get exposure and get your name out there as an online coach, do a lot more speaking on your story, showcase your exercises, whatever it may be. Just really put in effort to what you want to do to get where you want to be.
Is there one thing out of all the things that you've mentioned that really sticks out to you in terms of, okay, this really, really helped me get a lot of clients and really started to move the needle in my business?
Honest to God, just being straight up genuine with my clients. Just no bullshit, no cookie cutter programs, just straight up, what I see is with them, I'll then go do a plan off them to suit their goals. And then, I'm going to call something I do with my clients. I usually call them every week. I don't email them. So I get that bond, you know what I mean? It's a lot different bond. When you're calling your clients and you're like, how you feeling, blah, 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 as opposed to just, weekly check-in, let's change 50 grams of rice, 100 grams of potato, see you next week. It's a lot different to when you're talking to them. And I feel if you create that bond, you make them feel comfortable, but you still deliver the results. That's all you need.
Yeah, because obviously, are most of your clients are they trying to lose fat, or are they trying to be bodybuilders, or are they trying to be fitness models, or are they just general population clients who just want to change their life?
Yeah, good question. I've actually got a mixture of them all. I was starting to get into the comp preps and that, but to be honest, man, it's a hassle, man. It's hard to get someone on stage to deal with it. It's like you're dealing with their emotions and that. And, I just find it so much easier, whether that be good or not. I just find it better to just deal with general population that just, they want to lose that 5 kilos, or they want to put on that little bit of lean muscle, or not even that, just change their mindset and, be motivated.
Just feel better.
That's what I'm really starting to dig into now is, it's not even all just about the physical change. I want to dig into their mind and just change their fucking life and make them feel like they have a purpose on this earth. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Is that what you find the key differentiator in everything that you've done? Like the real thing that kind of moves the needle in most people's lives is definitely the mindset.
Dude, if you can't manage your mind, you're done. Do you know what I mean? Mind is everything. You got to master your mind when you wake up, or it's just, you know what I mean? You're not going to accomplish anything.
What kind of regimes and setouts have you got in place to obviously master your mindset and get that right, so that in order so that every day follows the kind of the kind of curve that you want it to follow?
Yeah, good question. I'll do a lot of affirmations, and I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I always go over my goals in my head verbally, like I'll speak them out, and then stuff like vision boards and that. But I'll always plan goals, short-term goals within like a day, or like I'll set a daily goal tonight for tomorrow, but then I'll set one for probably a month and then probably a year. But I won't go over that, because I find if you set a goal for a 5-10 year time, it's too far away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't.
It's you don't know, but people go, oh, in 10 years time, I want to be. It's like, let's just set a daily goals. They're so crucial, man, because you want to win every day. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think eat your biggest frog at the start of the day. If you've ever, I don't know if a few of you have ever read a book by Brian Tracy. It's called Eat That Frog, and basically what the concept of it is this: basically find your biggest thing that's going to move the needle that day and knock that over in the morning, so that that's done. Yeah, and then everything flows on from that. So if you have a bigger win in the morning, 100%. Something you achieve, and you keep going forward with it, you're going to start to move the needle quicker. Whereas if you start to like wake up at 9 o'clock and then you fanny around for a few hours and blah 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 blah, and you don't achieve much. Yeah, the afternoon's knackered, in it. Your day's done.
So true, man. If you win your morning, you win the day. So 100%.
Give us a bit of a background into obviously the first kind of modeling that you went and obviously did.
In terms of brand, or
in terms of just actually just you posing for pictures, because hopefully I'm speaking for a lot of men, but men don't like taking pictures. Like it's quite like I was in Noosa the other weekend, right?
Oh, no, really? That's my hometown.
Yeah. I was in Noosa the other weekend, and I thought to myself, I've got to get a few pictures for Instagram, like, so I took one, and I just felt, fuck, this is awkward. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, to be honest, man, when I started out, I was the exact same. I was like, I didn't. It's like I enjoyed the end result, but I didn't enjoy taking the photos and all that. And I was just like, this is kind of weird. Do you know what I mean? And then I don't know. It's just it's kind of like anything. The more you do it, you actually kind of enjoy it, and then you enjoy the process of it, because you see like your end product up on an ad or something. So it's like when you see it like that, it's like, fuck, all this work, it's going somewhere, instead of just kind of like taking a selfie. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not one to just go and take a selfie. Like, I do feel like it's weird kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when it's more like a shoot or something, I find it's a lot more like rewarding, if that makes sense.
When was the first time you saw yourself on a billboard or a poster or up in a shopping centre?
Yeah, probably a year ago. Probably a year ago. There's a lot going up on ads and posters now, but probably a year ago. Yeah.
And how tell me, how does it actually feel like? Is it quite surreal? It must be quite surreal to see yourself. Because I remember going to the airport and seeing Ryan Evers, who's another lad on the Gold Coast, and he'd shot for Oakley sunglasses, and he was at every airport I went to. Whether I was in the UK or whatever, he was in the airport wearing these Oakley sunglasses. I thought, how cool is that? I was in London, and there's a guy that I know in the airport that's on a massive billboard above the Oakley store. I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah,
I just humbled by it and just want to keep working, man. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I just enjoy it. Yeah,
but you said there was a lot. And I think a lot of people don't get this, that they have to be willing to give something for free in order to start to get on, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same with your modelling. You didn't start modelling stuff and started to get paid the money that you get paid now. That just didn't happen overnight. You mentioned before that there was times when you gave a lot away for free. So just walk people through like how you your mindset into giving away for free, obviously, then started to get paid on the back end.
For the modelling or the coaching?
For the modelling.
For the modelling, yeah. So, like, I would just obviously go, like, they would, right to the start.
Yeah, go right
to the start. Before anything, I would say I wanted a Culture Kings. I wanted to shoot Culture Kings. things.
Yeah.
I would go buy a shirt. So just like a normal person, buy a shirt.
Yeah.
But then I would go shoot that, and then I would go put a post up and tag them. So then they see that. So then I'm showing respect and love to that brand. So then they're like, you know, it might not even happen on the first time, but I do it a few times, and they're like, hey, this guy, he's really showcasing our brand. Do you know what I mean? Like, we might send him a shirt now for 50% off. So then that's how it started. So then you get a discount. So then I'd still go buy clothes, but they'd be discounted. Then it got to the next step. They're like, all right, I'm going to send you, you know, a package of clothes. Can you go shoot it and do X amount of stories and posts for me? And that's still free content. You know what I mean? I'm not getting paid. So there's like 3 levels. And then it's like the next level is like, okay, now what are your rates to put a post up for us? And then so it takes a long time.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people, they reach out to me every day, message me, and they're like, what do you charge now? It's like, first of all, that's none of your business. Like, second of all, like, you need to work your way up. Do you know what I mean? It's like in any job. You can't just expect to be at the highest level. Do you know what I mean? I still want to get higher. I'm just saying you got to go show love and do some free stuff before you start getting the payment.
It's like somebody who wants love but won't give love themselves.
100%.
You have to first give before you can ever receive, and you have to give 90% more than the 10% you get back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But there also is the law of reciprocity, which means that, you know, in a lot of cases, if you give a lot to a lot of people, it's going to come back to you in a way anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why people don't do more for free, especially some people who want the Instagram following, who want to do all this kind of stuff and want to do what you're doing, but are just not willing to even get out the gates and start, because there's a lot of competition now to do what you do, isn't there?
Yeah, 100%. Oh man, it's flooded. But it's flooded in the wrong way. There's people doing that shouldn't be doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like someone trying to go say, oh, I want to be an NBA player, but you're never going to be one. Do you know what I mean? It's not being cruel. I'm just saying, like, you either got a unique look or you don't. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't go do, like you were saying to me before, go focus on the strength that you actually, you know, you can do well in.
Yeah.
But I find everyone's just like, oh, I just want to rep this, just want to rep that, because they think it's cool. But like, it's not that cool. It's just I'm just, obviously people are liking my content and it's working for me.
I think you've got quite you're a good looking lad. You've got a unique look. You got the tan, the tattoos. You're thick set because of the bodybuilding stuff, and we'll go into that. But like you've got that look that aesthetically women want to look at and other men want to aspire to be. So of course you can go and create content. But for someone like myself, I'm no model, right? So I've thought to myself, do you know what am I best at? Okay, maybe that's talking, Frankie. Maybe you got a voice. So maybe work on that rather than trying to be the Instagram model like everyone else, because that's probably not your forte. You can't. You have to think 17 different ways of how you're going to take a photo by a pool. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not that the modeling gig is not for you, man. Like you gotta. I think you gotta be. It's awareness. I think more people need to learn awareness of who they actually are. Yeah,
100%. I just find too many people are just doing things for the wrong reasons, if that makes sense.
Just for cash flow, you mean?
Yeah, just like they're not meant for it, or they don't enjoy it, but they're just trying to be on the bandwagon. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people like that. So.
Yeah. And I suppose through this line of work, you'll meet a lot of people that will try and leverage you and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And
100%. Yeah, man. There's a lot of leeches. You know, people just silly things like shout outs. They just want them for free, and it's just like, you know, my page isn't a shout out page. You know what I mean? Like, I built my profile up to where it comes. Why would I just give you a shout out for nothing? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that's just one example. Do you know what I mean? Or they'll ask about how much your rates are. It's like, do I ask how much you earn a year? Do you know what I mean? Like, just, it's privacy, and, you know, just like, I'm okay to give tips, but there's a difference between giving tips and just telling people everything of how you, do you know what I mean?
Give some tips then to people on here, so that if you say, if someone reaches out to you and says, hey, can you give me some tips on Instagram? You can just say, hey, go listen to this, because I give all the tips away for free, rather than, and have something out there that gives away the tips. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what are the tips? Okay, say tomorrow, I want to grow my Instagram, and I want to, I'd probably first think to myself, okay, I'd probably ascertain that you'd probably say to me first, okay, what is it you actually want to achieve, mate? Do you want to be a fashion model? Do you want to be a hat model? Do you want to be the guy that reps socks? I mean, I don't know. Like how do I start?
Yeah. So first of all, you've just said the best tip is find what you want to do, your niche, because even like a model, there's so many different categories of a model. Do you want to be a fitness model? Do you want to be a fashion model? Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to categorize that so then you know what, first of all, you're shooting and what brands you're contacting. Yeah. Because there's so many. To just say I'm a model, I could model like teeth products and skin products, but that's completely different to clothing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So once you're not the type of guy that you'd probably see repping like a teeth whitening kit then, because that's not really your niche, is it?
It's not my niche, but I've actually been hit up by multiple places to do it, but it's not my niche. You know what I mean?
So you don't do it because it's not your niche, is what I'm saying. You don't take everything on.
I'm not taking everything. I would do it. It just depends on what they offer. Do you know what I mean? And if I want to be like, I want to take that kind of picture, do you know what I mean? Or that kind of ad. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm enjoying like the urban wear kind of streetwear shoots, as opposed to, that doesn't interest me as much. You know what I mean? Like holding a toothbrush near my face kind of thing.
Yeah. It's just that's not. I couldn't imagine that being your kind of jam. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I think one of the biggest brands that you obviously work for and work with closely now is Culture Kings, right?
Yeah, they're probably not the biggest, but they're consistent, man, and they're probably my favorite. Like, you can't beat their gear.
Yeah. So how did you get on with a big brand like Culture Kings?
Good question. They actually hit me up. So they just providing all my content. They messaged me and just said, hey, would you like to, it obviously started out with free, would you like to go shoot the new anti-order range? So they'd send me it and I'd shoot it for free with a photographer, obviously.
Does that cost you money then to do a photographer? Or is because you're doing free content for them, do you say to the photographer, hey, look.
Yeah, so a lot of photographers I collaborate with because I'm trying to get them exposure, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
As of late, I've started to pay a few, but it's kind of half now. It's probably like 50 will collaborate because they're just starting out photographers.
Yeah.
So if anything, they're probably getting more out of it than me. And I do get them a lot of leads in terms of, other models trying to contact them for shoots once they see my shot. But then I do stick with a few basic ones that just, I love their work and they do put a lot of work in for me. So I'm starting to pay them. Yeah. So
and do you reckon you'll eventually just find one that you kind of you love their style and their aesthetics?
Yeah, that's what I want to do. It's just with how much I'm actually doing at the moment, it's really hard just to have one because these photographers, 99% of them have a day job. So this is just their. If you find 99% of photographers, it's just their secondary job. So to get them and book them in 4 times a week, it's very hard. Do you know what I mean? It's like very hard to time up your schedule. So that's why I use multiple photographers because like there might be one that's like, I can do Monday, but no, I can't do Tuesday, Wednesday. And it's like, okay, I got to get someone else. And that's where the process comes in.
And I suppose when you get these kind of jobs turn up in your DMs and all this kind of stuff, then I suppose that you've not got a lot of turnaround time for that kind of
100%. A week probably, a week or 2 max.
So you got to you've got to agree to the job. They've got to send you the gear.
Yeah.
You got to go. You got to pick the kind of location that suits the type of clothing and type of thing that you shoot in. You got to get the shot. You got to send it, and you got to send them. They got to get approval on the shot, and then you got to post it.
Yeah. So it's a fair process. So people look at it and they're like, oh, all you do is you take images and you post. It's like you don't see the back end of it. And then that's just one brand. So when you're doing multiple a week, then you think about it, it's a floodload of work. And then you get to the end of the week and you've done it and it's like, boom, another 5 brands are on board. So it's like, it's just continuous. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people don't actually respect the work you put in. It is a lot of work.
No, and I used to think like before I worked in this industry in terms of like looking after social media influencers, looking after brands and seeing what goes into it before that was apparent. I used to think, fucking hell, these guys are getting paid for nothing. Right, but when you see the back end of what it takes to manage a high level personality on Instagram or an influencer or even on TikTok or anything like that, when you see the work work that goes in to get that to that level. You kind of, man, you guys have you've put in some hard yards, and that just proves my point, in fact, of that. If you're achieving anything, if you see someone at step 597 in life where you think they're killing it, they've done those other
100%,
they've done those other 500 steps to get there. No one's just come over and knocked on Jackson's door and said, "Hey mate, do you fancy being a model? And we're going to pay you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grand an image." No one does that. Do you know what I mean?
100%. That's what. That's any successful person. Maybe 1% they're lucky, but 99% of them, they've put in a lot of work for that to get there. So that's what you got to respect. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
With any job, with anything, if someone's successful in some area, there's been a lot of back end work. You know what I mean?
And do you? And obviously, like you might have a different opinion on this, but I presume that when you got into like the bodybuilding stuff and you put all your time and effort into building this body and all this stuff, did it get to a point where you thought, well, how am I actually going to get paid for this? Unless I just rep supplement companies, right? How do you can't make money out of it? So is that when you kind of thought to yourself, that's when you started to take on more of this modelling work as well?
100%. That's why I don't compete, and that's why I never have competed. Because what do you get out of it? You get a plastic trophy, you kill yourself for 16 weeks or something, do you know what I mean, to get in shape, and then you rebound like a motherfucker, you fuck your hormones, and you don't win anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I'd rather... I've been in that contest shape before. I'll tell you what, it was the worst period of my life. I'll tell anyone out here, to be dead set dry to the bone lean, it is not fun at all in terms of relationships, life, food, lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? So I would rather be, say, 5% fat. I would rather be 10 to 12% body fat, but I can go eat anything, eat normal, eat healthy, still train, but still not train when I want, not kill myself on cardio, than to be 5% fat and absolutely hating life. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I'd rather be the 5% fat look-wise, but in terms of the lifestyle, I'd rather have the extra body fat and really enjoy life. And that's what people don't understand.
No, I love the fact, I want you to really go in depth with that, because I think there's a lot of juice in that, because so many people are chasing this lean physique, right? This men's health. And I think those people are the most unhealthiest people that I've ever met. Not only mental wise, like their mental health is fucked. A lot of these 100%. A lot of these people have got anxiety, they're self-conscious, they don't know who they are as people, their whole work,
even eating issues, eating disorders,
100%. And
I had it myself,
and their whole their whole life is around is in this social bubble. Do you know what I mean? Because they have to. They're trading on these likes and these dopamine hits from social media, and like obviously you said you went through an eating disorder. I mean, how did that even start?
Fuck, who knows? It's just I don't know, just the leaner you get, and then like obviously your food gets reduced, and then you just come to this point where you're just so fanatic about food that you just, if it's not, if it has a gram of fat on it, or a bit of sodium or this or that, you stay away from it. And it's like you're scared because you're obviously going to put on a little bit of fat, but it's like once you're at that leaner stage, it's like any bit of fat you put on, you just feel fat. Like it's, and that's why it's so unhealthy to be there, because what you don't understand is all these cover models and all these people you look up to on the front of magazines, I'm talking more fitness now. That photo is one day of the whole it's the year. They don't look like that. I look at most of these people, I know a lot of them, they don't look anything like that most of the year. And that's still with drugs, tan, sodium, proper pump, downlighting. Do you know what I mean? It's like that photo is like, it's so hard to get to, but then people look up to it and they're like, that's the image that everyone revolves around. But you can't get there. Do you think that the image that people are trying to obtain to is slowly changing now, or do you think that it's more worse than ever? I think it's worse. I think it's worse in terms of everything, in terms of girls too, with, surgery, Botox, boobs, BBL lifts. Like, I didn't even know what a BBL was probably 5 years ago.
Yeah, so
bro,
Brazilian
there's so
butt
many
lifts.
girls with it now. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Obviously the steroids too with guys. I think it's getting a lot worse, and I think it's going to get a lot worse.
So,
you know what I mean?
When you were at your height of bodybuilding and putting all your time and effort into just building this Adonis Greek chiseled out of stone body, right?
Yeah.
What kind of gear were you on?
To be honest, never a huge amount, but just you want me to say what I'm on?
Yeah, for sure, man. I think just shoot people honest because people need to know. I mean, Ty Lucas did the same thing.
Yeah,
he's like, Ty came in and he just shot straight down the line. He's like, okay, I was on this and I was on that, and I was like, and it's just the best way to be.
100%. So basically, I was just gonna say at my peak, I would always have like a testosterone base in there. I'll never go high with it though. People don't understand when you go high with it, it creates a lot of water retention. So that's where you get that big puffy look, and you're always. Also affects you, your acne and a lot of stuff like that, hair loss. So I would always keep that at a moderate dose around, 500, which is fairly moderate. I know
500 milligrams.
I know a lot of people that go to, a gram, like 1,000 milligrams easy with their testosterone. So I'd always have that. And then at the peak, I would always use Masteron, propionate. I would always use a short ester because short esters will hold less water too, and they're in and out of your system quicker. So if there is a side effect, it's gone. Do you know what I mean? And I would always recommend using a short ester. The only reason people don't use short esters is because obviously you have to pin more frequently. So in terms of pin, you have to inject. So no one wants to, inject every day. Like it becomes very, a chore. And it becomes seedy that's kind of why I got turned off it. You feel like a junkie. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
and they're big needles, aren't they?
100%. Like even though it's not, ice or something like that or heroin, you still putting a needle in you. Do you know what I mean?
I don't care what anyone says. It's not. It's not right on any level to pin yourself. I don't care what anyone says. Like even diabetics, don't like pinning themselves. They'd happily turn that off.
Yeah. So basically a testosterone base, a masterone base at probably 400 milligrams. And then when I was at my leanest, I would definitely be on clenbuterol, probably 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. That stuff's, it's pretty insane. But with everything, man, if I didn't have my diet on point and I wasn't training hard on my cardio, honest to God, it wouldn't have done nothing. Like you have to have all that in place before you add the supplements in. And that's where people don't understand. Like honestly, it doesn't do anything if everything else is not on point. It really doesn't. And then the last thing I dip into was I don't recommend it at all, and I would never do it again, was a T3, which is a thyroid. So it basically speeds your thyroid up to double or triple the amount, depending on the dose. And basically you just get lean. You know what I mean?
But what are the side effects of this, Jackson?
Many side to the T3.
To all of it. Like what? Because so I know you'd have gone through a lot of side effects for all that stuff. What were some of the things you were going through?
First of all, hair loss is probably number one.
You were going through hair loss?
Yeah, man, 100%. I noticed it within even a cycle.
And cycles, 8 weeks?
8 to 12. Yep, I would notice a lot of thinning, and by the end of it, I was definitely receding at both front sides. That definitely turned me off, and I'm like, to be receding.
Have you recovered that now?
Yeah, there is ways to recover, and I've studied a lot into it, and I've been, I did take a little bit of finasteride. Finasteride is very good to, I'm not that scientific in all this, but it blocks the DHT. So then, it helps grow your hair back. And then I would use some lotions, minoxidil, and stuff like that. So there is ways to get it back. But if I had have gone any longer, and to any gear user out there that is listening to this, once you've lost your hair, it's gone. Do you know what I mean? Unless you get a hair transplant, but that's still not, 100%. So, be careful with it because it will kill your hair. That's probably the number one of steroids. Do you know what I mean?
I think the thing that most people can identify with this is the fact that if you want to be this Dick Lean fitness model, look like the Rock type guy, if you want to be that type of guy, you have to become a chemist. That's the only way.
100%.
Like, you have to be a chemist, and
Yeah.
and there's so much. Like, you've learned all this from taking it trial and error, but you have to do a hell of a lot of research before you even start taking this shit.
Yeah, man. I've like even just like obviously research online, but just talking to a lot of like older people that, you know, have done it themselves, and like just a lot of chit chat back and forth. Like, I've done my fair share of research, and still could learn a lot more, but there's people don't understand. Like, I would never jump into, if I could reverse time, I would never jump into something so quickly. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, I still don't know. I still am learning so much about it, and I'm so knowledgeable with it now. It's like, I still don't really know what could happen, or do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's a chemical in your body. You don't know how you could react. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So people don't understand. People think steroids are healthy because it's in a health industry. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, whereas you opposed to cocaine, ice, or heroin, it's in a junk industry that's it's not healthy. Yeah, but because you're doing steroids, people think they're healthy. But man, I'll tell you what, trenbolone and clenbuterol and insulin, there's nothing worse for you. Like, they're some of the worst drugs you could ever take. So there's nothing healthy about it at all.
Yeah,
you're not healthy.
Yeah,
and that's what I learned.
You look like this big Greek Adonis. You look healthy as anything, but inside you're shot to pieces,
bro. Like, I've got living proof of it. Like, I talk about it a lot because I want people out there to know that when I was running, you know, when you're throwing in your orals, it's no different to taking MDMA. It's an oral. It has to bypass your liver. So when I was really taking the orals, so not the injection, the oral type of steroids, my liver enzyme and kidney enzymes were through the roof, to the point where they were like, if you keep this up, like, you're going to have a bypass. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that's when I saw that they, like, because obviously I'm a big believer in go get your bloods done every probably second month if you're on gear, because you don't know what's happening, like your cholesterol, your LDL, you know what I mean? So you got to go get that done, because if I hadn't probably got that done, even though you don't, it might be elevated, you actually can't feel that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I thought I was healthy, but when I got the bloods done, I was fucking unhealthy, and I was only 23. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but that's where you get to the point where it might be like, until you actually feel a bit of pain, your liver might be gone, or your kidney, or your heart. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
when these things start to really fucking fail, you got no chance.
And for them to be failing, and I know a lot of people, for them to be failing in your 20s as opposed to your 50s, bro, you're fucked when you're 50. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's just what turned me off it. Like, it's just, there's so many cons to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, although it makes you look good, there's so many downsides to it.
Yeah.
Like, so many.
And I just I love the fact of how honest you're being about this, because, and Ty was too. He was like, man, like he was stood on stage at the Arnold's, flexing his lats, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger's there. The guy's getting called out. He's going up against the top guy. So it's like him. There's two of them left. Like, mate, he just knew in that moment this wasn't for him, man.
Yeah.
This wasn't his jam. He's like, what the fuck am I doing this for, man? This is bullshit. I want to be surfing. I want to be having a life. I want to be, like, you talked about eating and this, that, and the other. Fuck me, having an eating disorder to look healthy doesn't make no sense, does it?
It doesn't, man. But the amount of cases I hear on a daily, it's just crazy. Like, do you know what I mean? Of coaches putting their clients on, you know, rocket low food, and then they got hormonal problems. Girls can't have they haven't had their periods in years. It's like, just because, you know what I mean? It's really fucked up, the fitness industry.
Do you think there's a lot of pressure on women now, or is it more 100%. Pressure on men, or what was it?
I think it's equal, to be honest.
Equal.
Yeah. I think both are just chasing that image. But what I'm trying to say is, I've been to that image, and unless you've been there, it's not even worth it. Like, as you said with Ty, you get to that peak, and it's like, it's so shit when you're there that it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I know, yeah.
I honestly, don't get me wrong, I'll probably lean down a little bit for summer, but I would never go back to that, even if I could. Like, because it's that fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even get out of bed. I was that low on energy, like, when I was that lean. Like, it was just, I wouldn't look forward to anything, because everything I ate was boring and shit. And then, you know, who looks forward to doing 2 hours on the Stairmaster each day? And then who looks forward to, you know, nothing's revolved around there's no life. It's just gym, cardio. We'll go eat something shit like broccoli with no sauce, and then we'll go to bed. And it's the same every day. Do you know what I mean? So you don't look forward to anything. So although you look so good, it's like, why?
Mate,
why?
Honestly, I always thought it looked terrible. Like when you know, I just didn't think it looked like a sport to me. But like the more and more, I know I'm lucky enough to know a lot of top people in the industry. Yeah, at IFBB level. Even I used to train with Austin Current, who won who won an IFBB, his pro card, and mate, everyone I talk to just tells me like this is the most toxic industry.
It is, man, and
they've ever been in.
I know for a fact it is. I'm not just talking, bullshit. It is. It's not. I really don't know why people do it. I don't. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know why people get on stage. Like, yes, one time's okay. I was always going to do it once just to build my portfolio. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these people that do it back to back for nothing, it really blows my mind. I don't get it. Yeah. I don't get why they're doing it.
It's like
also the money you're spending on a comp prep.
Yeah, how much is it? How much do you spend?
Like, it depends obviously if you're a girl or guy, but I'm just talking. So if I'm a girl and I want to get on stage, you got
12 weeks. Go for it.
Yeah, you got your coach. So that could be $2,000 straight off the bat. You got your bikini for WBFF, man. They're probably like $500 to $1,000. You got
what, the bikini?
Yeah, they're fucking ridiculous, man. They got diamonds and shit on them.
$1,000 for the bikini that they stand in.
This is WBFF. It's more like the glamour.
Yeah.
But IFBB's less, but it'd still be $350 easy. So let's just say that's $500. Mental. So that's $2,500 without anything. So let's put in, and I'm just going to be straight up. Most people are on gear, even girls that compete.
Yeah. I
don't give me shit. That. Like I know they are. All right. So so let's say, fuck, if you're doing a 16 weeks, like let's put another $1,000 on it for a cycle. Do you know what I mean? So there's 3,500. But then let's put your supplements in. Like I would have, if I was having someone compete, I would have them on a lot of supplements in terms of legal supplements.
Yeah.
So internal, everything, gut health. Man, that's going to absolutely cost you a fortune. Do you know what I mean? But then also the clean eating and the high quality of food. Like, like the salmon, the organic beef, the bone broth, the apple cider vinegar, all this stuff. Like,
and a lot of that tastes shit.
I've heard people that easily spend $5,000 to $10,000 to get on stage for a plastic trophy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
and everyone's doing it.
Everyone's doing it, and they think it's like cool.
And do you know what annoys me
I'd rather put that $10,000 into a house or a holiday. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I started to think. I was just like, I could save so much if I wasn't doing this. Do you know what I mean?
I know, and it's great. But the thing that annoys me about the whole game is the fact that there's no real route or route, or if you're listening to this in America, but like there's no route to earning a living or a massive amount of money on the back end of doing all that work.
Yeah,
like at least if you're a professional footballer, you're obviously trying to play for Man United or Barcelona. If you're a professional boxer, you're obviously trying to box for a world title where you might get paid some decent money.
Yeah.
If you're this fitness guy, unless you get signed by Gymshark, you're fucked.
But that's what people don't understand. Not even 100% of people aren't going to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the people they sign is 1 in a million. Like, that's what people don't understand. The people that get on the Olympia stage, no one. Like, we've had one person in Australia in our whole history, Lee Priest. So, like, why do you think you're going to get on? Do you know what I mean? And he still didn't make it. Like, you're not going to make a living off of it. I'm just being straight up.
Yeah.
Like, he's that's why it blows my mind that people, they think they're actually going to get somewhere with it. Because I'm just being straight up honest. You're not.
Lee Priest, he represents a brand in the UK with a guy called Aaron Lambo, who's from my city.
Yeah.
And
I listen to a lot of Lee Priest. He does a lot of podcasts now.
Yeah. And and I fully respect what he did.
Yeah.
But if you look at his body and his condition now compared to, you can tell that all that gear's started to catch up
well, yeah, you look at anyone that's abused it. Do you know what I mean? Like Ronnie Coleman, Doreen Yates. Look at any of the big, like they don't look healthy now. Do you know what I mean? Even though they're older, they just don't look healthy. Do you know what I mean? It definitely, that's another one of the, besides the hair loss, the second biggest side effect, aging. It ages you like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like I used to have the biggest baby face. Like, obviously it's gonna, you're gonna lose as you get older. But when I was on the gear, I noticed a difference just in how I looked. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, gives you that old look. Do you know what I mean?
There's a young lad that I know that does bodybuilding, and he's definitely aged a bit, Like, and it's disappointing because like, it's such a nice lad, but I can just how do you tell someone? It's
very hard, man.
How do you tell someone that?
It took me a long time to get out of the steroid scene, like a long time. It's a drug, man. Like I got off it. Do you know what I mean? But then I got back in the gym and I feel small and I'm around these people, so I got back on it, and then that was a continuous cycle for nearly a year.
But do you find though that when you're the best version of yourself and you're kind of comfortable with who you're at, and you kind of don't want to hang around with those type of people?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because it's who you associate with.
Because when I look at people that are together that take a lot of drugs, right? Whether it's cocaine, whether it's recreational drugs, whether it's copious amounts of alcohol, using that as a drug, or whether it's these steroids, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the times when you're abusing any one of those three methods, you're just a group of broken people together.
Yeah, 100%.
That kind of come together because you're all feeling, a little bit broken, a little bit neat, and that's why you're attracted to each other.
Yeah.
100%. Because like, mate, when it gets to fucking 10 o'clock at night, I don't want to be fucking out in some fucking dirty bar watching people smash back shots.
I'm the same now, man. Like I just grown out of it.
I've never enjoyed it ever, mate. And I used to try go to. I've never drank alcohol in my entire life, man. Never drank alcohol. I'm serious with you. Seriously, never drank alcohol.
Wow.
Right? Never tried drugs, and I've never smoked. Right? Obviously, ibuprofen, paracetamol. Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, man.
Obviously been down that.
And
route.
You never will.
No, I won't because mate, honestly, people come up to you and they say, well, what don't you think you're strange because you don't? I'm like, bruv, don't you think it's strange that you need 3 shots of Zambuca and a vodka lime soda and a beer to go and talk to that chick in the corner?
100%. Yeah.
Who's got the issue here, me or you?
One question though, how do you find I'm sure you've had it before, the peer pressure?
Yeah,
I've even had that. Like,
so I think, and
how do you say? How have you dealt with it?
Yeah, so I get the peer pressure. Like even when I went out to the Melbourne Cup, right? Even though I'm with a group of people from the gym, right, and they're all great people, but they're still unbeknownst to them, they're still applying peer pressure every time I go out to say, "Hey Frankie, have your first shot. Hey Frankie, have your first beer. Hey Frankie." Yeah, but I couldn't give a fuck what anyone says to me. I'm doing what suits my purpose because my happiness is the most important thing first before anyone else's, right? 100%. So, but in regards to peer pressure, there is a lot of peer pressure, but the best things in life that you ever achieve have pressure. Yeah. There is pressure in that environment. The best things that I've ever done have all required pressure. Do you know?
So what do you say? Well, do you just say no?
I just say no. I'm comfortable. In what I do. I don't have to. I've got nothing to prove.
I just think it's a good point because I think that's why a lot of people do all this stuff is peer pressure.
Honestly,
and they can never just say, they give in.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But that's what. But do you know what? Right, it's people that give in to the just have one more drink. It's people that give in to the just have that line of cocaine. It's people that give in to just smoke that fag. Do you know what their problem is? They're the ones that go out in life and they'll just, fall off that diet or just give up on something they're passionate about, or they'll just cheat on their girlfriend that one time that'll turn into 2 times, or it'll be that girl that just cheats on their boyfriend. Do you see? There's a pattern of events that happen because what you're doing in that moment by being weak-minded is you are giving up on yourself. Like you are literally saying to yourself, I do not respect myself enough to know that I am different. Do you know what I mean? Good point. And we're all different, mate. We don't have to. We don't have to. We don't have to drink to fit in.
Yeah.
Like me and you are having a really good conversation right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no fucking alcohol involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big believer in it, man. Do you know what I mean?
I bet. How much better do you feel not drinking?
Yeah. Oh, man, you probably won't believe this, but I haven't had a drink in 3 years. Dead set. I don't rate it. I actually got into it become like a year, and then I was like, fuck, I want to be the one that doesn't drink.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because I can only tell you from my personal opinion, but
Yeah.
I've always felt like I've got like my mind beats at a different frequency to like a lot of people, and I see a lot of stuff faster than other people, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's a lot more clarity in my head. I think that people, when they operate in these drug spectrums and these alcohol spectrums, I just see fog everywhere, bruv.
Yeah.
Right? Can you tell from someone that's drank the amount and taken the amount of drugs that you have to where you are now, can you explain the difference in the clarity that you have now compared to when you were doing all that stuff?
Dude, just a whole different person. Like, I wouldn't recommend anyone to do it. Like, it's okay. I'm not going to sit here and say you're a dickhead if you're doing it, but don't do it. Like, there's so much more to life. Like, it's just, I can't even remember what I was like when I was doing this, because I just wasn't myself. Like, I honestly cannot, like, I have so many, I lost friends. I nearly lost my mum and dad. You know what I mean? They just hated me. Like, I didn't even know myself. I wasn't even happy with myself. I think that people that actually abuse drugs and do alcohol, they don't really know who they are.
All I'm going to say to you, Jaxon, is this, right? I've been going out on the town or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
or out and about since I was probably 16 years old. Yeah, and I'd been out more before that. So probably from the age of like 13, 14, I was going out and about. Yeah, in my life, I have never seen anyone that. So there's a difference between social drinking and non-social drinking.
Yeah.
So like when someone's drinking to get drunk, I've never seen one person drinking to get drunk who I personally believe is genuinely happy at that moment within themselves. Never once. Not in 20 odd years. The same thing is when I'm talking about people that take a copious amounts of drugs. That I've never seen one that I personally believe, and it's just my opinion, I've never seen one that's truly happy within themselves.
Yeah.
And that bothers me, because that says a lot to me. And I'm a bit of a thinker and a bit of a processor. The way I process things, I'm like, well, that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
That is all I need to know. That alone is enough to keep me away from this stuff for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because why would I do it? Like, why would I go in? Why would I go into that avenue? Like, I don't see what everyone's like. Well, just have one drink. I'm like, but for what benefit? Who does that benefit? Does it benefit me or does it benefit you?
Yeah.
Is it so that you can say I was the first one to get Frankie to have alcohol?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
I'm a bit the same now. People are like, just have a drink. It's like, first of all, I don't like the taste of it. Like,
whoever thought that even I smell it, bruv, and I don't like. I'm like, why the fuck would you drink that shit?
I honestly, like, I've said it to my girlfriend friends many times. Like, they have a drink, I'm like, I honestly would rather have a glass cordial. Like, it tastes better. No, like, I'm being serious. Like,
I'm serious,
why would I want to have a beer? First of all, it tastes like shit. Second of all, it's going to make me feel like shit the next day, or it's going to affect my performance in the gym.
Yeah.
It costs money. There's no benefit to it. Why would I just want to have one drink? Like, why?
Mate, to be honest, I vibe off talking to people. I vibe off energy, like, you know, sitting back, having a really good energizing conversation. Me and you talking openly about drugs, about drink, about this, about the gym, about the truth about bodybuilding. I'm just buzzing off your conversation, so I'm just got energy. That's how I gain energy. I gain energy off people.
Yeah.
So if I go to a table full of people and they're all drinking to get smashed, to get away from their working week, or to get away from the job that they hate, or to get away from the wife that they fucking despise, but they don't want to divorce her because they're going to lose half their everything. Yeah. Or, you know, do you know what I mean? Or their heads down in the phone looking at social media because that's all they're bought into. That's when my energy becomes like, oh, fuck, I'd rather go back home and watch Netflix. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I just don't.
It's interesting.
It's an interesting concept, but there's nothing. I'd challenge anybody to question, you know, if if you're just drinking to be sociable, there's nothing wrong with alcohol drinking.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. Like if you just have a glass of wine with your meal or go and have 3 glasses of wine in an evening, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if you're sinking a slab of beer,
Yeah.
or if you're going out to get fucked up, the question I ask you is, okay, why?
Yeah.
Because, and don't tell me it's just don't tell me just because you want to feel like this or you want to get like this because of your friends. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's you telling yourself a load of shit. You're trying to get away from something. Well,
Yeah.
why don't you try and find out what you're trying to get away from and then go fix
solve
it
it,
and then
yeah.
fix the fucking problem.
Yeah. But that's the same with drugs.
100%.
You know what I mean? You're trying to get away or you're trying to, you know what I mean? There's always a problem. Do you know what I mean?
Did your mindset change? I want to talk about this, and I hope you don't mind me bringing it up. Obviously, there was a little bit of negativity a couple of years ago in regards to you, and I think it was blown out of proportion because of your Instagram following.
Yeah.
You were obviously pulled over by the police. They've gone through your gym bag. They've found testosterone. They found this Anavar. Rah rah rah. We're talking small amounts here. We're not talking big things. But because of your status on the Instagram and because you're got a following and all this and the other, they've gone in. You ended up on the news. You ended up in news articles. How did that affect your mentality towards drugs? How did it affect your business? How did it affect your life?
Yeah, to be honest, it was hard at the start. It took a big hit because everyone obviously believed it. Like, not believed it, but do you know what I mean? Like, looked into it and like just took it on board. Like, you know, oh, he maybe is that type of person. But I just, you know, I took it on the head. I apologized to people I needed to apologize to. And I went about my business and I just showcased that I can be a better person and move on from that. And just, you know, soon enough, people just saw the transformation in me, and that's all it needs, just actions. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think it was a positive thing that happened to you at that time? Because you think
I think it was, because if it didn't, I would probably still be doing steroids right now and still be just that type of person. Do you know what I mean? Until it really took a bite on the head where it's like, you know, like there's a media article and, you know, you're close to going to jail, and you know what I mean? Like, it's like, unless something, and I find that with a lot of people that use drugs and stuff, unless it's like a life situation, life or death, it's like they never change. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, unless you got to really be like, do you know what I mean? Like, otherwise they're just like, why do I have to change? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
do you think it starts off with one drug and then goes on to another and another and another? Yeah. And am I right in saying that when you are taking it, I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I personally think if something triggers you, there's an issue there that you got to go back and solve. And I've talked about that on many podcasts before, right? And I talked about in previous podcasts that I've said, you know, if I find something that's triggered me, I'll go home and I write it down and I figure out where that trigger came from in life, and I try and work on the problem so that kind of thing doesn't trigger me anymore. And that's how I get the stones out of my shoe. Do you think that with you taking the kind of drugs and this, that, and the other, do you think that was predicated on things like, okay, were you bullied at school for being small, so now you thought, okay, I've got to get big? Or was there peer pressure from other people you're surrounded by? So you thought, because I'm training with this guy over here and he's on that gear. Do you think that that's why you felt you had to be on it?
Yeah, just peer pressure, who I hanged around with, and it was just trying to fit into the crowd. That was basically it.
So you'd say then, in that respect, from what you've just said, that if people are out there and they're doing something that they know is either harming their health or not truly aligned with where they want to go or who they want to be, then you'd say from that point, you got to stop doing it and stop aligning with those people.
Yeah, you got to move yourself away from the crowd or the people that you know, triggering this. Do you know what I mean? It's a big thing. I had to actually move gym like full. As you know, World's Gym is probably a more steroid-associated gym, Jack gym, as opposed to F45.
Yeah.
So that's where you have to move away, or you're just gonna get this dysmorphia, and you're gonna. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably the biggest tip I did, was actually just fuck off for a bit.
Just look
until I'm happy.
Look at your environment that you're in. Because I think a lot of people could get a lot from that. You see, look at the environment that you're in, and say to yourself, what does this environment actually say about me? Like, where's it taking me? Like, it's like when I was a shop fitter, and I was surrounded by 12 hours a day in a shop, fitting out shops, getting paid good money. I was on like 6-7 grand a week at the time. Yeah. Which is good money in Australia. Yeah. But I was surrounded 12 to 14 hours a day by negative people that were breaking up with their wife, that were abusing their body with alcohol and drugs because they hated their job. And I just looked around this. I was doing Pack Fair when Pack Fair was first renovated, a local shopping centre in the Gold Coast. I was doing like Louis Vuitton, and I was doing the Tiffany store. And I sat in the Tiffany store and I was fitting out all the cabinetry in the Tiffany store. And I just looked around, right? And I thought to myself, fuck me. Like, I am a happy, joyful, like, buzzing guy. And I'm surrounded by miserable fucking bastards, right? Now, guess what's going to happen to me if I continue on this path? You're going to end. Of course you fucking are. Of course you are. Yeah. How can you not, Jaxon? Yeah. Like, how can you not end up like who you surround yourself with? Yeah. You can't.
So you had to remove.
So mate, I just fucking quit. I quit. Yeah. I actually quit. About 3 hours later, I quit. Yeah. I didn't want to quit. So I just started an argument.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they kicked. Wow.
I basically got kicked out the store. I had an argument with the foreman, and it got a bit heated, and I got kicked off the job. Yeah. Because I knew that it wasn't my best financial decision to quit. Yeah. But I knew if I gave myself no other option, then I could exit. So I started a row. Like I knew
But you wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that, and 100%. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for probably that. Do you know what I mean? So like,
but these are the kind of things that you have to be open and honest about it with yourself. You have to go and have a word with yourself. You take yourself off to a quiet location. Yeah. I mean, if you're in the UK right now and you're in lockdown, right? You got plenty of time. You're locked down in your own house. You've got plenty of time to think to yourself right now. And if you're in some parts of America too and you're listening to this podcast, or other parts of the world, you've got plenty of fucking time to sit there and say to yourself, am I doing what I want to do? Am I acting the way that I want to act? Am I around the right people that kind of move the needle in the right direction in my life? You know what I mean? You've got plenty of time to ask yourself those questions if you want to make the time to do it.
Yeah, it's very true. And a lot of people would say no. Do you know what I mean?
Like a lot of people would say no because that is the easiest thing to do. Yeah. So where do you see the future for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Something that I don't really even know yet. Obviously I know, but like I don't really know. I want to obviously travel the world while working, but I want, if it's the coaching, I want coaches working off me. Yep. So obviously I'll still be working, but I won't be doing all the back end work, if that makes sense.
Yes. So you build like an online academy type. Yeah. Like academy. What James Smith's done.
Yeah, 100%. Like people like that. And then, you travel the world working from your laptop, whatever. And then, obviously from the modeling side of things, I'm not going to be modeling when I'm older. Well, I don't think I will be. So I'd like to have my own clothing label that's going, viral, and I'm getting income from that weekly, and I'm having models, model that. So they're probably the two main factors. And then, just buy a house and they're pretty much the three main things. I just want to buy a house and I want to set up the two avenues that I'm working on, and just hopefully, live a happy life.
I mean, one thing that I know you're heavily into now is you've obviously got a stake in two supplement shops. Yeah. Right. So how did you get into supplements, and what made you want to get into that kind of business? Because that's one of your main revenue drivers.
Yeah. Pretty much just from the online coaching and the fitness. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I've always used supplements. I've always been surrounded by them. I've been hit up by companies like ASN yourself. Yeah. Like, do you want to, do this? So I was just like, why don't I just, I've got so many clients to take them.
Why don't I sell them as well?
Why don't I sell them? And then it all just ties in. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I take them myself. I don't know. And it's something I do enjoy. And I'm like, I love talking about because I know a lot about it. Like obviously I've incorporated into my plan and that, and it's like steroid. It's like a chemical. It can, all of them react different. They're different things, and they like, I know they're marketing and their stuff like that, but there's actually a purpose for them if you use them properly. So
what are the supplements then in your estimation that most people are missing that they kind of need to take them to that level where they want to be, you know, get this healthier body or sleep better or do this and that level? What if you had to say, okay, this is the stack that I would take to kind of move it forward from where you're at? Yeah. What would you start?
I'll just do like top 5, because I'll be straight up. 70% of supplements you don't need them, because they're just money wasters. Yeah. Like you could use them.
Give me some examples of the money wasters first, then before we get to the top 5.
Money. See, it's like, it's not money wasters, but it is. Okay, so BCAAs, first of all, just hit your protein requirements for the day. BCAAs, that's all it is. So you don't need them. Do you know what I mean? It's just wasted money and with artificial sweeteners and crap loaders and stuff like that. So just go eat your protein requirements, eat before you train and after. You don't need BCAAs. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to do anything else. If you've had, say, 250 grams of protein, that's all your body needs. If you have 250 grams of protein, but then you have 8 scoops of BCAAs, you're not going to grow or look any better. So fuck it off. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's no point. I purely only take it because of the taste. So I put it in with a big bottle of water and have it just like a flavored drink.
Flavors like water.
That's all it is. You may as well just go by flavouring. But do you know what I mean? Because I get it free. Do you know? I just use it. So BCAAs you don't need. I'll be straight up. Protein, you don't need it. You don't need protein powder. The only reason I would use protein powder is
to supplement.
Pretty much just convenience. So if I'm traveling or I'm short on time, chuck it in water so quick, as opposed to cooking a chicken breast or can of tuna or eggs. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So once again, you don't need it. I would rather eat than have a protein powder, because personally I like eating. So I would rather eat a piece of steak than have a protein shake. Do you know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
So you don't need it. So I would only have it for convenience or flavour. Right. So second one, you don't need. Pre-workout, you don't need it. Do you know what I mean? You really only need like ingredients in it, kind of thing.
What ingredients?
Like so obviously, we'll just have a nice fucking strong coffee. Do you know what I mean? Like a double shot. That's your caffeine fix. That's your energy and everything. And then pretty much if you want that tingling feeling, that's just beta-alanine. But a lot of people don't even like that. So all I'd do is you taking out all the ingredients, I would just go, I would have a coffee. I would have some beetroot in my pre-workout meal, which is a nitric oxide. So that's your pump formula. So that's, if you got your pump, your energy, and then your beta-alanine is like that tingle. That's all a pre-workout is, with fillers and shit. So let's have a coffee. Let's have a good amount of carbs. Let's put some sodium in that. So let's chuck some rock salt on that. And let's have a bit of beetroot or something. And I guarantee you that will work better than a pre-workout. Like literally.
And that's when you get them like nice carved up muscles. Like you get that pump.
So to get that pump, you gotta have all 3 areas. You gotta have the carbs. Carbs will give you the pump. But if you don't have the sodium, you're gonna be flat. So you gotta have the sodium. People are scared of sodium, but sodium is essential for athletes or people that sweat and train. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta put it back in if you're gonna burn it.
You gotta pair the carbs with the sodium. And then you got to have, I would just put beetroot in because I know it's, one of the best for the pump formula.
Yeah, because beetroot actually strangely tastes all right, doesn't it?
I don't mind it. Yeah. It's not bad. So there's just, every supplement it's in a food. That's what people don't understand. Yeah. So everything you're taking can be like, you can use it in a food, but obviously it's just people mightn't like that food, or it's time consuming, or that's why supplements are made. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So protein powder, it's whey isolate or a casein. Do you know what I mean? It's taken out of cow's milk. Like you just go on and drink in the milk without the fat. Like people don't understand that. Like people think the protein powder is some gimmick. It's not. It's just milk. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not something miraculous. It's just got a cool label on it, and they put a bit of flavouring in it. It's very marketed.
It is very marketed. What are the supplements though that you think that people should all be on?
Yeah, top 5. I would always have a multivitamin in someone's diet, because there's always going to be, I don't care who you are, you're going to miss some type of areas of nutrients that you're not getting in the day.
Yeah.
So let's just cover it with a multivitamin.
Yeah.
Let's chuck in a fish oil, because I don't know anyone that eats enough fish or gets enough essential oil in their diet. Like, you need it. Do you know what I mean? Skin,
100%,
everything, bones,
100%.
joints. Then the third one is I'd chuck in a greens powder. I'm a big believer in that. So, like, a greens powder.
Yeah.
So I put all my clients on that in the morning. That's mainly for nutrients.
Is that like your
detox?
your broccoli, your green?
So like a vital greens.
Yeah.
So that would be for detoxification, energy, nutrients, just everything. Do you know what I mean? All round well-being.
Yeah.
So they're the three.
That's covering more your gut health, isn't it?
Yeah, but see, this is what is important. The shit
100%.
like the pre-workout, that's not going to make you grow. If you get your gut right and then eat properly and train and sleep,
You'll absorb better.
you'll fucking look way better. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I would then put in the fourth one I'd put in is creatine. Creatine, it's an actual backed up supplement. So creatine actually works. It hydrates the muscle and volumizes it and helps with strength. Whereas a lot of supplements, they don't actually work. So creatine, it's a staple, man. It's so cheap and it works for strength. It works for endurance. Why not have it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Is there any side effects to creatine?
See, people say there is, but it's like saying, is there side effects to drinking unfiltered water? It's like you just being picky now. You're not going to get a side effect off it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
I wouldn't panic. And then the fifth one, magnesium.
Yes.
Magnesium,
because that helps
people
you
do not-
sleep better, doesn't it?
But people don't understand. So the two vitamins you can't overdose on is magnesium and vitamin C. So you actually can never get enough of them. So if you take magnesium, I guarantee you're only going to feel better, sleep better, and be more relaxed.
Yeah.
And it's such a crucial part to your day.
And it's the citrate that absorbs better.
Yeah. So there's different,
Because there's sulfate in there and citrate.
Yeah. And even you can get magnesium in capsules or tablets or drops. So there's all different formulas, you know what I mean? But if you cover those five, man, and just eat a good, solid, clean diet, you can't go wrong.
What about all these new things that are coming out at the moment, with these magic mushrooms and stuff like that?
Oh, like the life cycle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe in all that, hey. Sorry to the company.
Nah.
I don't know, man. Come on. Do you know what I mean? I've even
I
tried them myself.
Yeah.
I actually, do you know Luke Hecker?
Yeah.
His podcast? I actually went on his podcast and he had him there, sitting there, and he made me take him before I did the podcast because he said it was going to make me feel better in the podcast. I'm all for it, but I didn't feel different.
But personally, I think it's like anything, like supplements, right?
Yeah.
You've got to take creatine for 3, 4,
Maybe
5,
you have to
6
take
weeks
it,
to get it into your system. You can't just take a hit of it once at the small doses that they've conditioned.
But I do have mates that use it and they swear by it.
Yeah.
So
I have a mate that swears by it, and he told me that you do have to take it for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to start to notice the clarity. So I would just say to people in relation to what you said, you're not going to, you can't take a hit of anything.
Yeah.
You can't, you know, the only thing you can take a hit of once, and if you've been cold turkey off caffeine for 6 months and then you go and have a coffee, you're going to feel that.
So
you know what I mean?
caffeine's actually a big thing that I put in my clients' plans. Even if I try to get people to have a detox of caffeine.
Yeah, and then you put it in, jar it up.
Because everyone gets tolerant to it. I guarantee if you take caffeine out, so if you actually add caffeine up, you might be having a hell of a lot, and a lot of people do. You add in your coffees, you add in your pre-workout, which has a ton of caffeine. You add in maybe a Red Bull and a little bit of something else in a drink.
Yeah.
Bro, you could be having excess of 1,000 milligrams of caffeine. You take that out for 4 weeks and add that back in, I guarantee you'll feel so much different.
Bro, I had a mad addiction to Monster energy drinks.
Yeah,
mad
and they're
addiction.
loaded.
Mate, I was drinking 3 or 4 cans a day.
Yeah.
And you compound that over time, and that's not doing any
man.
good. I went cold turkey. I've been off 30 days now. I'm
wow.
25, 30 days, probably longer now. I've been clean.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you now, I feel amazing. But
The longer it goes, you'll feel better.
yeah, and I would never willingly pick up or take a sip of one of those again. my relationship with Monster now will be like my relationship with alcohol. I'll be like, nah, no, thank you. Don't need you. Don't.
But it's another thing. It's just addiction.
It's, mate, but it's basically like, you asked me before in the podcast, you said to me, did you want to drink to fit in? Do you know what? I was drinking like the Monsters and the Red Bulls whilst other people were drinking the drinks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was actually fucking myself just as much as people drinking alcohol, really. Because if you have 3 Red Bulls after you've just been out on day, you've had 2 pre-workouts because you got boxing gym, then you got weights gym, then you've had 3 or 4 Red Bulls on a night out. Fuck me, bruv. Like, I was more jacked up than they were on the drink. Yeah. Like, so it's like, I'm telling you now, those things you want to really, really track. If you're gonna drink that shit, track it. How much am I having it? Because caffeine actually makes you feel more tired. 100%. If you take loads.
That's where it's a drug. So you have more, but then you feel tired. So then you have more. And it's just a constant effect.
It's a cycle. Yeah. It's a cycle.
It's like drugs. It's just a constant effect.
Yeah. And they say that caffeine is the most addictive drug in the world, don't they?
100%. Yeah, it's addicting.
Yeah, definitely. And mate, like you say, I've cut down shitloads since that. So I'm glad you mentioned it. Yeah. Obviously, to do. Yeah, it's not something I want to get back into. That's for sure. Hey mate, I just want to talk something off topic with you. Yeah, you know how we were talking before on here about you couldn't believe how many people were getting Brazilian butt lifts and all this, that, and the other. Yeah. And I know with the pressures on you on modelling, I know that Brooklyn mentioned on a previous podcast that there was an increase in like the Botox thing, right? And I know she reached out to you and got you on the old Botox, right? There's a lot of pressure. I was in the sauna the other day, and there's this girl that does injectables, and she was like telling me about, it's a great preventative, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, do you think there's a pressure on men now to go and get a lot of Botox and a lot of stuff done to them because of all this Instagram stuff as well?
Yeah, I think there's a pressure to make yourself look different. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I know a lot of guys that believe it or not, they get the liposuction.
What?
In their midsection. Yeah. So there's a lot, man.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening with all the surgical stuff. You'll see it a lot. It's his main Instagram page called they put the transformation of 2 people. Yeah. They put one up of like, they started with like Kim Kardashian and that. Yeah. And then they're starting to put up like influencers. With either their belly, their butt, their face, boobs, whatever. Yeah. And it's, man, there's a lot of guys getting stuff done.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. Yeah. I've never heard of a guy getting liposuction before.
It was all just girls, but guys just get it now just to
get the detail out there.
To take fat away, yeah.
Wow.
You can't be fucked dieting.
Wow.
Yeah. It's getting bad, man. Like, yeah. But guys are obviously nowhere near, like girls are just taking it extreme.
What kind of, you mentioned before about the kind of drugs, what kind of drugs are these women taking to get in the kind of shape that they're in? Because I want girls to understand that, listen to this. I want them to understand what kind of gear that these girls, that they're saying, they're sat at home looking at Instagram and they think to themselves, I want to look like this chick. You see girls share pictures of other girls going, this is goals. Yeah. Right? But then I look at that chick, I'm like,
I know what most of those chicks are on.
Yeah, what are they on?
So girls, you like, obviously, unless you're a bodybuilder, I'm just talking more like, still got feminine. They won't inject. It's rare to see a girl inject unless they're fully into bodybuilding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always an oral. So they'll always, pretty much the main girl drug is just clenbuterol, and that's just to purely just strip fat.
And lean them out.
And then Anavar is huge with girls. So you hear Anavar. Really? Yeah, Anavar is probably the number 1 girl drug I will hear about or they'll want to go on or etc. First of all, because it's probably got the least side effects.
Right.
And it won't physically change you like some other steroids in terms of vocal, like clitoris, all that stuff.
What does it do? They have vocals in their clitoris?
So if you take like a testosterone base or something like that that's not meant for a girl, it's virtually turning you into a man. So it'll grow your clitoris, you will get an Adam's apple, you'll get a deeper voice, all that type of stuff.
I was watching some kind of documentary, and we all start out as like females, don't we? And then like the clitoris grows into a dick, or it grows into a like it's just some weird thing I was watching about it. But like, is that what you're trying to say? Is that what you're trying to say with this? Like,
not to that extent, but like, it'll
it's not obviously going to grow into one like later on in life. But I'm saying in
you're virtually just slowly turning into a man.
Yeah,
I've been around a few like bodybuilder girls.
Yeah,
and they're
geezer birds.
You know, if they didn't have hair on them and boobs, it'd be like I was just talking to a man.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's
savage.
Yeah, I don't like it, man. Do you know what I mean? A girl should remain a girl. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't believe girls should touch steroids.
I would hazard a guess though that if they're doing that kind of thing and taking it to that extreme. Again, like I've said before, I would argue that there's things that have happened at early stages in their life that they have never boxed off, that they've never worked through. Do you know what I mean? It always comes down to that. Always comes down to what happened in your childhood, usually.
Yeah.
Or absent parent, or you're abused, or something happened. And these are all serious things, but you have to take ownership of these things and go and work that shit out.
Yeah.
Speak to someone, not just go and pumping testosterone into a woman is savage. It's horrible. Man, and the people that tell them to do it, or the people that put them onto it, mate, they're not good people.
I've only had one out of all my clients, one girl that I would never put a girl on injectables. Completely against me. Do you know what I mean? I don't even want to put girls on stuff, but if they say they want to do it, I'll guide them in the right way, if that makes sense. But I had one girl that said, no, I just want to take it to the next level, and I want to do some testosterone and some Deca. Man, they're so bad, literally. And I was
she's some serious unit now then.
Yeah, but I think she looks terrible, to be honest. And I was just like, I'm not doing you a protocol for that. So I just flicked her off. Like I was that's, and then, not naming names, but someone on the coast took her, and he's known to just funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think there's always going to be someone who's willing to sell the pill to the person that wants to take the pill to solve the problem. Yeah. But the pill never solves the problem. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? The pill could be alcohol, the pill could be drugs, the pill could be social relevance. Don't know what the pill is an epiphany for anything, but people are always trying to buy the fast track to obviously get this stuff done, and it's you and I both know that that's not the way forward, mate. Before we go today, do you just want to? Before we obviously get off here, like what is the one thing that you could just end this podcast with, where you could, if you're putting out your full truth, that you think could help make the biggest change in most people that are listening to this today?
Good question. So as we just touched on, basically just be, you got to be happy with yourself. That's probably number one. Like, even I'm still to this day trying to find happiness in myself, not to make other people happy. And that's something I probably did through all my teenage years and my 20s, was just, I did all of the things because I wanted to fit in. But it didn't necessarily mean I was the happiest at those stages. So whether I don't look the best, or that person doesn't like me because I'm being myself, you got to fucking be yourself, and then the right people will come through and they will love you for who you are. Do you know what I mean? So you can't just not be yourself your whole life, because you're never going to be happy. But even though you're trying to please the people that you want to love you, it's better off just being yourself, and the right people will love you. Like, you got to find happiness within yourself, and it's something I'm massive believer in, and I'm still trying to this day, trying to fully find happiness just within me and just be comfortable within my own body. Because you can't, do you know what I mean? Too many people are trying to be like other people, image-wise too. You're never going to be that other person, so you're always going to be down on yourself or depressed because you don't look like them. But just be happy with you. Like, obviously you're going to have features where you got your flaws, but you look good. But just be happy with you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just be the best version you can of you.
Yeah, and I think that you were saying that you just said there some great things, and one thing I want to clarify is you should always be in. The journey never ends. So you're always in the constant pursuit of becoming a better version of yourself.
Yeah,
that doesn't end.
Oh, never, man.
You don't do that and then it ends tomorrow.
Yeah,
you and me and everyone else that's trying to do good things is in that pursuit. One thing I will say is this: once you get on purpose, that I've noticed this from being around this podcast and trying to do this and trying to have conversations with real people like yourself. Once you're on purpose and you start to attract things into your life that are right for you, more than the wrong stuff or the stuff that you'd have attracted predicated on the fact of, okay, that looks good, so I'm going to do that. So you'll start attracting more things to you, and attraction comes from the fulfillment of doing these things that are right for you. So you just won't have to overthink it. It will just come to you. These opportunities, the right opportunities will come to you. The right things will come to you. And you mentioned one thing before. You start by writing down your goals.
Yeah.
Just even if you just made one change in your life today and just
wrote
down your goals.
Yeah. That's what people don't understand. It doesn't have to be heaps of things or big things.
Yeah.
It's just one thing, but then that one thing will lead to another thing.
Yeah.
People never make that start because they're just comfortable being set because it's easy.
Yeah.
You've got to just fucking change. Like, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't actually want to change. You got to change.
100%. Yeah.
You have to do it.
And other people, and I want to say this, other people will be intimidated when you start to change.
Yeah.
And they'll say, hold on, whoa, slow down, Frankie. Like, is this, do you know what I mean? Like,
there's a few good quotes like that.
Yeah.
I forget how they go, but it's like once you start changing, they start asking you questions. And
yeah.
It's like, it's so true, man. Like,
yeah, but those people and that is good in itself because it shows you the people that aren't right for you. It shows you the people not on your journey. It shows you the people that are not on your path, and you can't be right for everyone else. So you can't be that person. You know, you can't be on that journey. Do you know what I'm saying? So it is really good to know that stuff and really move forward with it, mate. Drop your Instagram so people can go and follow you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Just at I am Jaxon Tippet.
I'll put a link in the show notes as well, and drop your supplements website as well.
Yeah, so Nutrition Co, Malulba, and then Caloundra. So just Nutrition Co.
We'll put the link in because there's no way that they're going to spell that if they're not in there. But anyway, guys, thank you very much, Jaxon, for your time. If you can do me a solid favour and any of the stuff that me and Jaxon have talked about on this podcast resonates with you, if you can go and leave us a review on Apple, share this with your friends. It really, really helps me get this podcast out to more people, and we'd both really appreciate it. You can follow me on Instagram at Frankie Lee, Frankie IELEE. And yeah, guys, thank you again for listening in, tuning in, and all the support. Much love.